or the Save America Act, saying that if he's going to not sign any bills until it's passed, the Senate's going to be in a total gridlock. Can you just explain, isn't this sort of a stab in the back to the American people who 85% of voters support voter ID?
Yes, but their bill isn't voter ID, number one. It is about voter registration. It allows ICE to kick tens of billions of people off the rolls, and they don't tell them until election day, and you show up and you say, you're not registered anymore, you're not registered here, you're not on the rolls. And they say, I didn't know that. This is a bill that destroys the country, and it is not about showing ID when you show up to vote. It's about the voter registration rolls, destroying them, purging them, not letting people know, and taking the rights in a algorithm put together by ICE, put together by Doge and Musk. It's an outrage, and that's why so many people don't want to pass it.
So if you're
yes.
Can you comment on the implications for women, that bill? Because
yes. If a woman changes her name and you want to go first to go register again, once you're kicked off the rolls and you have no way of knowing, only 5% of people register in person, you need a passport or your original birth certificate. If you have a new name, you're a woman, you change your name, no good.
Whoa. You see, he's not even smart enough to realize he's telling off on himself. Guys, anybody who has a birth certificate in this country should be allowed to vote. The only ones that can't get a birth certificate is, guess who? Those millions of people that Chuck Schumer is trying to protect. Hi, Patrick. Thank you for joining me today. I am Charlotte Bergmann. Thank you for joining Political Talk. Guys, how about that leader of the Democrat Party? I think he's dumb. And it's past time for him to retire. But he is so full of TDS, he doesn't understand. If you are an American, I want you to understand this, because he is misleading you. If you are an American and you show up with your ID proving that you are American, guess what? You will be able to vote. So guys, please leave your likes, your emojis, your comments, and just let me know you're out there. I can see how many people are viewing the show. I just can't tell who you are until you make a comment. So thanks for joining Political Talk with Charlotte this week. I am your host, as mentioned earlier, Charlotte Bergmann. Remember that name. I'm a conservative voice for Christian and constitutional values. And in today's video, we're going to talk about some factors which you should be aware of to prepare yourself during the midterm election. Our show airs every Thursday at noon. That's noon Central Time. And if you're not able to catch the show live, you can always catch it in your own time. You just click on the link and the show will start. I've gotten to a point where I tend to see shows that are airing and they're live, and I think, oh, I missed a great deal of it. So I'll go back and catch it on rerun or restream. If you have any concerns, you don't like something that I post, you can always contact me. The information is in the show notes. My email address, my Facebook accounts, my Bitchute account, my Twitter account, my YouTube account, and my Twitch account. And I just am so grateful to the many people who I run into who tell me that they listen to the show. I'm so grateful for you guys. I really, really am. It means you're smart. You're smarter than I am. So, but if you are new to the channel, go ahead and leave a comment. Better than that, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, specifically on YouTube and Rumble, on Facebook. Help us grow so that we can reach a lot of people before this midterm election. I want you to know, and it cannot be understated, how much I truly love you, how much I appreciate you watching this show. So please come in and share my videos. Help me break that shadow banning. I saw a post earlier this week of my friend Lisa, who is terribly, terribly upset and concerned about the amount of shadow banning. You would think that they would have stopped that during the Biden administration, but they're sneakily trying to push the banning again. Check out my book, The Last Trumpet in the Battle for America. And on that note, sit back, get your popcorn and your Kool-Aid, and enjoy the show. Guys, Chuck Schumer is one of the dumbest people that, oh my gosh. Oh, Cindy says he makes her angry. I agree with you. Nani, thank you for joining the show. Marco, thank you for joining the show. You like my shirts? Flip Whitehaven red. Woo-hoo. For those of you that are not in Shelby County, Whitehaven is actually, it is a great community, but it's going to get better. And we're going to fix Elvis Presley Boulevard, especially for those people who are coming into the city and they are looking at Elvis Presley Boulevard, Elvis Presley's mansion. They are looking at all of those things and they are saying, ew. Well, our city hasn't been able to get the job done. We've got to call in the reinforcement, which is the federal government and the state, to make sure that we're able to target and improve Elvis Presley Boulevard and just give the whole community a facelift. It deserves it. Marco, I'm so glad that you have joined me, and I'm looking forward to interviewing you guys. So give me a call and let's talk about when you're going to be on this show. Anyway, let's move forward, guys, because this is going to be somewhat of a truncated show because the girls got some business and some appointments that I'm going to take care of. So when Chuck Schumer says that millions would be removed, all he's saying is millions of illegal aliens are currently registered to vote. And President Trump is taking care of that. That's his one line. He thinks you're too dumb to really be aware of that. Additionally, the guy is too dumb to know that although DHS is not being funded, the agencies that they want to defund, like ICE and Border Patrol, they are funded. They were funded in the one big beautiful bill. But currently, people are suffering. There are approximately 171 million travelers who face airport delays as Democrats shut down DHS. That hits TSA staffing, and they have to go out and get part-time jobs because their second paycheck has now not been given to them. That's not fair. That is not fair for those great people. I love it. I love it. Love that t-shirt. I think I'll go ahead and sell some. and we're just start a huge project. Everybody walking around with a Flip Whitehaven red t-shirt. The media would go crazy. I was at an interview about a month ago, and I had on a t-shirt similar to this. The media ignored me as much as they possibly could. They ignored me because they didn't like my t-shirt, Flip Whitehaven red, because they would be happy to keep you guys dumbified just listening to them. But let's make that our goal. Let's flip Whitehaven red. And the good thing about it, and the reason I have this t-shirt now, is because there are people whose eyes are being opened and they're not voting blue just because. They're not voting blue no matter who. They're beginning to open their eyes, and I'm excited about that. Marco is with us. He's joined us today. Marco is a guru. Oh, I blew that name, so I gotta have him on the show now. Marco is running as a deputy sheriff in Shelby County. So you guys remember that name, Marco. You see his truck driving around with a big sign wrapping that says Marco for sheriff. Marco's the man. Marco's, that's our sheriff for Shelby County. And right now he does have an opponent, Brad Les, and I respect both of them. And I have already committed to Marco, but I don't want to not give the attention and bring attention to Brad Les. I want to show you this. What Chuck Schumer is doing is causing disruption. See what is happening here? These are travelers. They have to pretty much face 3-hour delays in airports. Why? Because the TSA can't get their jobs done because they're not getting paid. Why are they not getting paid? Because, oh, Miss Deborah, I love you. Thank you for joining us. Woohoo! You guys are great. You guys honor me. Thank you. Share this video with your friends. But the TSA workers, many of them can't work. And that's causing a significant delay in the airports. It's the fault of the Democrats. This is a Democrat. Christian, look at my people. Look at my people. Hi, Christian. Thank you for joining me. Guys, this show is popping today, and I'm glad so many are joining us because it is imperative that we understand that people are suffering. There are long lines in the airport. People are frustrated. And the problem is the Democrats who are causing the shutdown, they're causing it for the wrong reason. They're causing it because they want to go after ICE. They're causing it because they want to go after Border Patrol. This is what's so crazy about it. They're not hurting ICE. They're not hurting Border Patrol. They're hurting TSA and the Coast Guard and various people who are working hard to keep this country safe and to keep people moving about. They're hurting those people. They're not smart enough to understand what they're doing. I wanted you guys to join me today because the midterm election is coming up. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit later in the show some of the people who have pulled petitions in Shelby County, the 8th and 9th district. But before I get to that, let's hear what Caroline Leavitt has to say about the Save America Act. What is happening is Chuck Schumer wants illegals to vote. President Trump and his administration and over 70% of the Americans want the Save American Act to pass. And who's holding it up? It's not Democrats. It is weak-kneed Republicans that are holding it up. Let's hold them accountable. But first of all, let's hear what Caroline Leavitt has to say. So I'm going to pull that up for you so you guys can hear what she has to say. As soon as I get it started.
President Trump is urging Congress to pass the Save America Act, one of the most critical pieces of legislation in our nation's history. The Save America Act is overwhelmingly popular with all Americans because each provision is rooted in common sense. The Save America Act has 5 simple requirements as requested by the President of the United States. Number 1, voters have to show ID to cast a ballot in an American election. Very simple.
What is wrong with voters showing ID? What is wrong with that? And yes, in order to get your ID, it's not an impossible process. It may be tedious, especially if you've been married before, but it's not impossible. Get your birth certificate, get your marriage license, and go and get your real ID and show that you are an American. You're not being asked to go to war. You're just being asked to get your ID. I think that's a small price that we can pay to be an American.
90% of Americans, including more than 80% of Democrat voters, agree with this. Number 2, the Save America Act will require all voters to show proof of citizenship in order to register to vote.
That is the crux of the matter. That is what Chuck Schumer does not want to happen. He does not want millions of illegal aliens being forced to show their ID. If Americans vote, whatever your results are, that's worth it. But our election should not be influenced by illegals.
In American elections. Again, this is popular and rooted in common sense. Only American citizens have the right to vote in American elections. But after Joe Biden and the Democrats allowed tens of millions of illegal aliens into our country, it's more important than ever to ensure that only American citizens are registering to vote on our nation's voter rolls, and Congress needs to pass this. Number 3, the Save America Act abolishes the incredibly unsecure practice of universal mail-in ballots, which throw the door wide open for fraud. Importantly, the Save America Act maintains exceptions for Americans to use mail-in ballots for illness, disability, military, or travel reasons. The bipartisan 2005 report of the Commission on Federal Election Reform, chaired by, of all people, former President Jimmy Carter and former Secretary of State James Baker, concluded that, quote, absentee ballots remain the largest source of potential voter fraud, and it is time for Congress to finally address this. Number 4, the Save America Act permanently bans men from competing in women's sports. President Trump signed a landmark executive order upholding the promise of Title IX and ending this dangerous and unfair practice. But now it's time for Congress to codify this into law. Number 5, the Save America Act bans transgender mutilation surgery for children. Again, President Trump signed a common sense executive order to do this and kept his promise to the American people, but now Congress needs to do the same and codify it.
I don't have any problems with those things that have been identified, and I hope you don't either. I know my friends who are great friends, who are smart friends, I think you agree with me. So I want to show this to you, and I want to see if you agree with me. If Christians don't get involved in politics, politics will erase our rights to be Christians. That does come from Donald J. Trump. But if Christians don't get involved in politics, our children, grandchildren, family, and friends who have basic Christian values and live a Christian life, we're going to suffer. Before you know it, negative things are going to be happening. So get involved with politics. Get out and vote. That's all I come by to tell you. Get out and vote. Now, what I want to do is I want to say very quickly that as of March the 10th, candidates who were to qualify to run in the midterm, the 2026 August primary election, had to complete and get their petitions turned in. So I want to show you the results of what you will see eventually on your ballots. Okay, let's start with District 8. District 8. David Kustoff is running as a Republican. And guess what, guys? He's running unopposed. Will Germantown send him back to Washington, D.C. to cast votes? Or will they select Democrat Dewey Bryan, Leonard Perkins, William Wicker, or Brenda Woods. They are running as Democrats. And then you have some independents. And it's interesting to me. I'm seeing more independents sign up to run for office. George Harrell, Pam Moses, and Horace Taylor. And these are people that are running, say, in Germantown, Memphis, Jackson, Bolivar, Dresden. They live in those particular areas. So I'm praying for each of them, and I'm proud that each of them were willing to put themselves out there to say, we're not happy with what is going on with our current elected official. And so therefore, I can do better. Now, in the 9th Congressional District, which encompasses the rest of Shelby County, you have yours truly. My name will be on the ballot. I'm an official candidate. I have competition of Kevin Young, who is also running as a Republican. He lives in Bartlett. And on the Democrat ballot in the primary, you will have M. LaTroy A. Williams, Steve Cohen, Devontae Hill. Devontae Hill apparently lives in Bartlett, and he submitted his petition on the day of the closing for submitting your petitions. His is still pending. They are checking all of his signees to make sure that he has at least 25 voters in the district who would support him. Justin Pearson, Wendell Blankenship, and Dennis Clark. Now, Wendell Blankenship and Dennis Clark are running as independents. So there you have it, guys. Those are the people who I want you to do some research and find out a little bit about them. And don't vote blue no matter who. Don't even vote red no matter what. Vote after finding out who these individuals are and find out if they share your values. Because once they are elected, if they share your values, that's good. But understand, only the independents will not have to tread water for their party. So make sure that party value or those party values align with your values. I hope I covered that correctly. I found this and I wanted to play it for you. It is Malcolm X is talking about political chumps. I think it's worth listening to. Are you a political chump? Let's let Malcolm X tell you what a political chump is.
When you see this, you can see that the Negro vote is the key factor. And despite the fact that you are in a position to be the determining factor, what do you get out of it? The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro vote. They've been down there 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they brought it up and gotten it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first and they put you last. Because you're a chump.
I have to say that we spend our time voting not for our values, but voting for a political party, voting Democrat, no matter who. Do your research. I gave you the names of these people. If you missed the names, go back and rewind this show and look at those names and look them up. Now I get to the last part of the show because I have an appointment. I discussed what happened to me on Thursday. What I want to say is this: don't mess with me. I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. I'm a Christian. And these deputy sheriffs found out that God is protecting me. So I want you to hear my testimony on what transpired on Monday night when I received the loud knock at the door. So let's bring this up, and then I'm going to end the show. I hope I can play this. Let's see. Oops. Okay, look at there. Let's get it started. I am Charlotte Bergmann. On the last day to submit my petition to run for office for U.S. House of Representative for Tennessee District 9. That was Monday. On Tuesday, this past Tuesday, March 10th, 1 o'clock in the morning, it was too. At 1 a.m., I was studying scripture. I was studying specifically, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. There was a knock at my door. I initially ignored it because I thought maybe someone just accidentally knocked at my door. But the knocks became more frequent until they reached a level of the individual knocking began banging at the door. So I reluctantly went to the door and I peeped out the peephole. There were what looked to be 3 burly deputy sheriffs. After I inquired about what they wanted, they stated, "Come outside." Well, by that time I did. I felt intimidated. I then asked if I could get dressed first. So after getting dressed and praying all the while I'm doing this, I went back to the door. Guys, no one was there. I just want to send a message. Whoever you were, your mission of intimidation was accomplished. And if I had opened that door, the story could probably be different. But I didn't open that door. I did not answer the door. I want you to know you messed with the wrong one. I'm not the one. You failed. And for my friends who may have a similar experience as mine, when there's a knock at the door early in the morning, I hope you're smart enough not to open the door. Ask for a warrant and keep your cool. I was protected. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I'm Charlotte Bergmann. Thank you for listening to my story, and be careful out there. All right, guys. I have a couple of questions here from Nani. She wants to know that I find out why they were there, that you have a door cam. My neighbors have a door cam. One of the neighbors also stuck his head out the door on that night. So I could talk to him to find out what he saw. I just hadn't checked with him yet, but I did talk with someone whom I respect very much, who is actually involved in the legal system. And he stated that they achieved their goal. It was meant to intimidate me. Remember, I said it was actually the last day to turn in my petition. I believe it was political. I am not afraid of them. And they come after me. Watch what's going to happen. Nani says, check with my neighbors, see if they have a door cam. Yes, neighbors have a door cam, and one of the neighbors stuck their head out the door. That intimidation was unnecessary. It was totally unnecessary. Guess what? I'm on the ballot. I'm not going anywhere. And I look forward to this campaign. And before I end, I want to say, during the last campaign, we're getting ready, guys. We're gearing up. During the last campaign, I had Nani and various people who supported me. We ended up with approximately 56,000 votes. 56,000 votes. Guess what? 2 times 56,000 is 112,000. If you just ask one other person to go vote, if you make yourself responsible for one other person to go vote, we win. We win Tennessee 9, and we get rid of the criminal that is leading us now. The one who, well, I'll do another show on that, but we take our city back, and we got to take our city back. Why? If you want safety for you, your family, and your community, you ask that one extra person to vote. If you want more money in your pockets, you ask that one extra person to vote. If you want lower gas prices, food, egg, beef prices, illegals not voting in your election, you ask that one other person to vote. So I'm depending on you guys. It's not as much of a tough hill to climb as it has been in the past. But we're out working hard. And something I hadn't had in years past since the first time I ran, I have an excellent, excellent, excellent professional campaign manager who served as a mayor, and he knows politics, and I respect him quite a bit. So it's a lot of exciting things that are happening. So thank you for joining me. You guys have a great, great day. I love each and every one of you. I've enjoyed this show. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I'm going to be late for my appointment, but thank you for joining me. God bless you. This is Charlotte Bergmann signing off with Political Talk with Charlotte.